to post the link. So I'm going to come in here and post new room. So give me 1 second. Just wanted to start this up as soon as possible, but I'll find a chat here. Okay, found the chat. Still have 0 viewers. Say new broadcast room. Okay, so hopefully everyone hops over here. I'll give it a minute. Yeah, I see we have 6 people here already. So guys, I apologize. So everyone here right now, right? You're here on this stream because I had the issues with GoToWebinar last week on Thursday. And, I keep apologizing for that because, yeah, that's not obviously what I wanted to happen. And then today I'm trying to get my screens linked up on YouTube, and same thing, something I've done plenty of times in the past. I'm just not getting it's just not working. Things aren't clicking with me right now on the tech side, but happy we are on. I see we do have people here now. Good. So it seems like we got moved over. Now what I'm going to do is just pull up the question and answer box, and we can get into it. So the reason that I wanted to do this today, like I mentioned in the email I sent you, is because obviously when I typically do these webinars, like the one that we had scheduled for Thursday, I get to go through the training with you, but then part of it is being interactive. So you could ask questions, I can answer them. And yeah, we can basically make sure that everything that I discuss on the webinar is addressed. If you have any issues, we can overcome them and get you set up to where you can actually start building your own business. So let me pull up this video now on our YouTube page on another screen. That way I can just see your questions and see your comments and whatnot. And yeah, what I would say for now is go for it. If you have any questions right now, just start typing them in, because that is how this is going to work. So I'm going to come into live streaming, and then I'll pull this up. Yeah, and I really, I wasn't kidding when I was talking about our our GoToWebinar system and how we use it. I've probably done, between all of our businesses, not even kidding, 200 something webinars, and that was the first time I've ever had that happen. But let me see, and they still haven't been able to tell me why. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, John, we got it. Let's see. Doc J says, what's good, Anton? Nothing much, man. Stressful Sunday morning. Brian says, greetings. Hey, Brian, how are you? Fat girl life. I remember. Robert says, I'm here. Cool. Legacy Chaser says, my favorite e-commerce mentor is live. Yeah. Ali from Sweden. What's up? What time is it in Sweden right now? John says, we all make mistakes. Yeah. Cool. Keon, is that how you say it? New member, just bought Advanced the other day, ready to rock it. Tony says best way to, okay, yeah. So I'm going to start at the top, guys. And again, keep the questions coming. I was going to do a screen share, but again, technology is not on my side today. So you'll get to look at my face as I answer your questions. Hope that's okay. Let me see though. We have the first question that came in is from Tony. And it says, what's the best way to market watches? So Tony, I don't know if you caught I'll move this over here, the mic a little bit. I don't know if you caught the webinar the other day, the encore that I sent out, but with watches, that's not a niche that I would get into. Okay. I'll just give you the perfect example why. I'm wearing a watch right now. This is from a company called Shinola. It's a company in Detroit, and it's one of, I would say, 20 to 30 companies that people probably will go to when they're looking to buy. This isn't a premium watch, but when they're looking to buy, middle to upper tier watch. And those aren't things that you would be able to drop ship. Okay. So if I went to this company and said, I'm an online retailer, used our normal script, say I wanted to sell your products, they just wouldn't allow me to. And even if they did, it wouldn't make sense because they have their own showrooms. They're sold in Nordstrom. They're sold all over the place. So if you're trying to drop ship using the drop ship lifestyle model where we try to sell for other people's brands, this isn't one that makes sense. And then of course, like I talked about on the webinar, this isn't something you would want to do with watches, if you were trying to kind of work on the arbitrage model where you would look for them cheaper in one source than another, because that's not a real sustainable business. And then obviously you don't want to be having your own fakes or imports brought in from China. With that being said, if you do want to build your own private label watch brand, that is definitely a business, just not something that was discussed on the webinar. So not something that we'll get into a lot here unless, we have time and you still want to know about it later. Let's see. Robert says, no worries with electronics. Steve says, good morning. Good morning, Steve. Cool. We have Grid TV is here from Seoul in Korea. Awesome. I was just talking to my my wife this morning about like upcoming travel plans, and I think South Korea is in the mix. Love your food. Love Korean food. Let's see. We have Linda says hello everyone from Austin, Texas. Nice. I'm in Austin right now also. Cool. Marshawn says, I've been with Dropship Lifestyle for over a month. I'm enjoying it, but I still have time finding suppliers. What are the best strategies? Marshawn, what are you trying to do right now? And let me know what's not working. This could be cool. There's not a whole bunch of questions coming in yet. So if you want to let me know what you've been trying and kind of where you're stuck, then we could do like a live little consulting type thing and everybody could benefit from the answers. Let me see. Tiffany said, though, should we start with one product or several options of the same type of product? Great question, Tiffany. So the way that this works, right, is if you want to sell, like I'm going to look around my office here. I'm at my home office and I don't know. Okay, let's say the bookshelf, right? If I was going to sell bookshelves and that was going to be my niche, I wouldn't want to just sell one bookshelf. What I would do is go online. I'd go on Google. And I would try to find every company out there that is selling bookshelves online. And I would specifically look for companies that are selling bookshelves online that that do not have physical presences. So I would go to their About Us page, I would go to their contact page, and I'd be looking for ones that don't have any showrooms, that don't have any warehouses. Office space is okay, but I'd be looking for ones that basically were online only. And then I wouldn't just look for which is the best-selling bookshelf and try to sell that. I would try to find every single brand they sell for, every single bookshelf available. And then my bookshelf store would have maybe 50 different manufacturers or brands. I use those words interchangeably. And it would have, you know, probably 3, 4, 5,000 bookshelves on it for sale. So one product type, as long as the demand is there. Okay, next question is from John. And John said, what do you have in mind? What do you have in mind of the old school crowd that cannot fathom a ClickFunnels? Okay, John. Yeah, ClickFunnels is a piece of software for anybody that hasn't heard of it yet. It actually is a great piece of software. It's a great tool for certain businesses. I'll tell you, for Dropship Lifestyle, right, for our e-commerce companies, we do not use ClickFunnels at all. And the reason is, going back to that previous example that we were just talking about with like bookshelves, for example, with the Dropship Lifestyle method, we want to sell products that, you know, it's a category, it's a section. Some of our sites have 3,000 or 4,000 products. What ClickFunnels is good for is if you sold one specific product. So if you were doing something that was like private labeled or something you had your own inventory for, let me look around and try to find a good example in here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Let me move the microphone a bit. I have this like little tree here. I think this is like a ginseng plant or something, but let's just say that was a like a bonsai tree, right? And let's say that like let's say you had John, you had like a bonsai tree farm and that's what you sold. Then a good idea for you would be to use ClickFunnels, because your main product, people would go to the website and you would have like one bonsai tree style. And then the point of ClickFunnels is so after someone buys that from you, you could have a series of upsells and downsells built in. So someone buys your bonsai tree and then you say, hey, do you want this premium base? Then they say yes or they say no. Then you say, hey, do you also want to add on this, you know, pair of shears to cut it? Hey, do you also want to add on this spray water bottle, and so on and so on? So again, ClickFunnels is good for that type of stuff with, I would say, like a singular product focus, but that's not what we do at Dropship Lifestyle. All of the Dropship Lifestyle stores, again, you're trying to sell every product for every supplier that you could find in your niche. Let me see. Grid TV says, how do you deal with refund requests in giveaway deals? Can you specify what you mean? I'm not sure what you mean with giveaway deals. We don't do giveaway deals. We'll do like, you know, different coupon codes and stuff like that, but we don't like, yeah, just please clarify what you mean and I'll be able to answer that better. Jose says, is there any way you can show how to get, and I guess the second part of the question is, how to start with something small. Do you mean small products? Like if you want to sell small, like little, like trinkets and whatnot? And I'll clarify too, hopefully you did catch I apologize. I'm shaking my stand-up desk here, so it's probably like making people nauseous. But no, just to clarify, if you are talking about selling something small, as in inexpensive in price or in small in size, either one of those things I would say don't matter, and I would say you should actually try to stay away from that. If you haven't caught the encore of the webinar, it was a replay of the most recent one since the big tech fail from the other night. But if you haven't caught that yet, I'll link it up in the chat. Let me just put it in now. And like, no one should, don't click away now to go to this. Like, check this out later, you know, after the Q&A, because this would clarify. But you don't want to sell anything small. You don't want to sell anything cheap. Not worth the time. Okay, next question is from Robert, and it says, I was looking to sell air-driven power post driver for 2 fencing contractors. So Robert, here's what's cool about that. I have no idea what that means, but that's usually a good thing. So like, it's crazy. I've been doing this stuff, right? I've been building e-commerce stores since 2007. And all the time I have members of Dropship Lifestyle who build like massively successful stores, and they're selling products that I just never even would have thought to. And I literally, like, my own niche list that like I've been adding to for a decade now, I have like tens of thousands of different product types. And then, you know, something like that, if it's a real thing and if you could find people selling it online, it might be a great niche. So yeah, I don't know anything about that niche, but again, like, obscurity is typically good. Like I mentioned on the webinar also, you know, what's cool about this type of stuff is that basically, like, what you could do online is take things that aren't readily available to people, either in their hometowns, either like if the products just aren't there and they just can't find them, or if the variations and the styles and the types are limited, like in the chandelier example I give. So that could be something that could be perfect. What I would recommend you do is vet it and kind of like cross-check it with the market research criteria and the niche selection criteria that I give in modules 1 and 2 of the Dropship Blueprint. Let me see. We have a question that came in from the other chat box, and this was from Yakin, and it says, how do you convince people to buy your high ticket products as a new store when you don't have reviews? Okay, great question. Reviews definitely will increase your conversion rates, meaning when you have them, more people will buy from you. So if, you know, 2 out of 100 people bought from you without them, maybe 3 out of 100 people will buy from you with them. So it is something that's a big part of the strategy as you grow. Once you start to get customers, give them the best experience possible, get reviews so that more people will buy, and it'll snowball in the future. Now, as far as how you get sales without reviews originally, I mean, there's a ton of things that you could do. A big part of it is making sure your website is optimized to convert. I wish I could share my screen right now, but again, because of the way we have this Q&A set up, I don't have like the ability to share my screen. So again, I apologize, but what I would recommend you do is check out, let me pull this website up. I'll pull up a couple of our demo stores, and then I'll link to them in the chat box. Again, don't go to them now, because if you go to them now, it might close the live stream for you. And there's probably going to be a lot more good questions coming in. So I'd recommend you stick around. But here, I'm going to put check out our demo store. So the one that I just linked to in the chat box is it's like a stand-up paddleboard store, and it has a lot of different elements built in that get people to convert. Okay, so it's built using the Dropship Lifestyle Shopify theme. It also has the Dropship Lifestyle Shopify app on it, but it's a good like just go through it, look at our product pages, and see what stands out to you, because a lot of why people are going to choose you over your competition is because of how you set up your product pages and different elements that they contain. Okay. Let me hop back up here into the question box. Oh, cool. Brian said, took your suggestion and watched the movie There Will Be Blood. What was your takeaway from the movie? Yeah, so There Will Be Blood, I mentioned on a podcast probably a few months ago on my podcast, E-Commerce Lifestyle, that that's like one of my favorite movies. And the concept I was talking about from it was from like the end scene of it, where the main character that's played by Daniel Day-Lewis, It's a pretty sick scene. Like, it's pretty gruesome. But the guy, Eli, comes to him and he's basically trying to sell him a piece of land that the main character that Daniel Day-Lewis played was trying to buy from him in the beginning. And he basically tells the guy at the end, like, Eli, like, I don't need this from you. Like, it's worthless, because of the concept called drainage, which basically was that the guy, the main character, bought all of the land around him and then was able to get the resources from his land, which was oil under the ground, because they went down in the properties next door, got their oil, got the oil from them, got everything. So the point that I was making in that podcast about that concept, right? The concept of kind of like hidden opportunity, also has to do with being creative and find other ways to get things into your business. So it's not exactly related, to the webinar that I did, but as a general, I guess, point, and what I was referring to is like, if you're ever looking for websites for sale, if you're ever looking for new ad channels to use, if you ever want to access like a group of people to market to, right? Maybe that's the oil, but you don't have a direct in, look for other ways, because there's always ways to get creative, to get resources out of things that, maybe you feel are either out of your reach because of money or because of connections, but there's always ways to get more out of something than you see at face value. So that was my point about that rant on the e-commerce lifestyle podcast. And by the way, if anyone hasn't listened yet, I enjoy it. It's like, basically I record it on my phone as I'm driving into the office, and I just like will rant about something that's going on in business or something that I'm thinking about. Okay, cool. Alexandru says, I'm in Seoul right now to the end of next year. Awesome. Yeah, if I come, which I do think I will, I'm definitely going to, I'll post about it like on our forum, so we could try to set up some kind of like, meet up and like some, just like, I don't know, we'll go get some beers and some bibimbap, hang out one night, try to bring a group of dropship lifestyle people together. Let me see. Legacy Chaser says, Anton, you suggest to build a store before reaching out to suppliers to show them we know what we're doing. And I agree with that. My question is it okay to import their products from the get-go? And it's 4:21 p.m. in Sweden. Nice. Not too different. What I would say is, okay. This concept is, the demo store, which of course we do, like you mentioned. What we do when we're uploading products to our demo stores is we'll just find like generic stock images, but we're not actually putting up other people's products, because you're not doing this to try to like trick anybody, and you're not doing this to try to make it seem like you have connections that you don't. You're just doing it so that when a potential future supplier goes to your website, they can click into a product page, they can see what it looks like, and they can envision their products being there. So let's just say I was building a surfboard website, right? What I would do is go on Google. I would go to Google image search, and then I would search for images that were labeled for reuse. So basically royalty free. And then I would, download like whatever, 5, 6, 7 surfboard photos. Then I would upload them to my website, my demo site. And maybe the first one I would call, I don't know, green surfboard 8 feet long. Then I'd have red surfboard 7 feet long, and so on and so on. So again, the whole point of that isn't to try to trick anybody. It's just so you could have a website that is built out so that when people look at it, it actually looks legit. Now, the other thing that I'll say about that is, as soon as you do get approved with your first real supplier, then you should upload their products right away and then just remove the demo products. So it's not going to hurt you one way or another, because you're not going to have your cart set up, meaning no one's going to be able to buy products that don't exist, but you do want to upload the real ones as soon as possible so that you actually can start getting some sales and making some money. So yeah, the second part of this question was, should I pick similar products that my supplier has from AliExpress? I mean, if you want to, that's one way you could do it. But again, Google image search for royalty-free images is fine. Jose says, I don't have any experience in e-commerce. Yeah, that's why you're here on Dropship Lifestyle. That's trying to help you get started. Let me see. John said, what do you think about using natural resources that we have in our own demographic to fabricate and make unique replications of antiques that are still a loved classic, which is coming back in style? Okay, John, there's a lot of ways to, make money. There's a lot of ways to get involved in e-commerce. If there's a market for what you're talking about, and if it's something you really want to do, I don't see why it wouldn't be a viable business. Of course, if you do your research. What I would say is that's not the model that we use at Dropship Lifestyle. Our trainings and whatnot probably would still help you because there's a lot of things that would translate over, like how you build your website, you know, how you get traffic, how you optimize for conversions, how you outsource and automate. The part that would change is product sourcing. One thing I would say to you or to anybody else that wants to either get into private labeling or into manufacturing, like it sounds like what you're talking about, my advice is still try to build a store that is working on the dropship lifestyle model and do that first. So if, I don't know, if you wanted to sell, you know, quartz stones and you wanted to sell ones that you could find, you know, locally, and obviously I'm making this up, but I would recommend you get started by selling quartz stones from other suppliers, maybe ones that already are branded, and then try to start getting sales to see what products sell at what price points. And then from there, introduce your own brand and your own label and your own line of products into your website. So that would be my advice there. Schwab says, is there any way to finance the premium course? I've been wanting to buy the course for months, but it's hard when you're 18 and you have bills to pay. Yeah, we have an option. Let me post it. And I don't know if anybody saw the webinar, the encore that I had linked to. We did have a special offer there. So you're saving, it's about $784 with all the bonuses from our normal price. But excuse me, I'm going to link this up in the chat box, and this is for Schwab, but anybody else can obviously use it too. So it's dropshiplifestyle.com/go. Did I spell that right? My own domain name. Lifestyle.com. Yeah. So Schwab, if you go to that link, you're asking about financing. There is a button, so you can either enroll on that. That's with the special offer I gave on the webinar. But there's also a button at the bottom that says, I think it says apply for PayPal credit. And if you do that and you get approved, PayPal will give you 6 months with 0 payments and 0 interest, meaning that if you wanted to pay for it 5 months and 29 days from now, you could do that. But what I would say to anybody that's thinking about, like, you know, maybe using credit or getting enrolled, whatever, don't do it unless you're really gonna, you know, build a business here. Like I love credit personally. Like, luckily I don't have to use that much, but like I do spend as much as I can on all my credit cards nonstop and then pay them off, you know, usually every couple of weeks. But what I would say, you know, with the credit option, especially if you're 18, don't take on that risk or don't take on that debt unless this really is for you and unless you know you're going to make this work. Because if you know you're going to make this work, you're going to make this work. But if you're like, oh, this sounds fun, I want to watch some videos, like there's no reason to take on debt. Only do it if you're going to build a real business off of it. That's what I'm trying to get at. Let me see. The next question is from John, and he says, so if you have your own banana ripening business and there's no other suppliers. So yeah, there's got to be some competition somewhere. That's what I would say. If you want to sell a product type that no one else is selling, that's a problem. You know, you're never going to find anything good without competition unless you just invented some type of new product that's about to change the world. But competition is a good thing. You want to find competition. That's how you know people are buying what you have to sell. And that's how you can really get, you know, an insider look as to what you should do to market your stuff. Let me see. The next question is from Animals Hunting and says, what budget do we need to start e-commerce in 2018 for a minimum budget? So it's really not much. Like, it depends. Like, do you want to have someone build your website for you? Do you want to have someone make your logo? Do you like, what do you want to do? Do you want to do it all yourself? Because if you want to do it all yourself, it's super affordable. Shopify, which is the platform that we use to build our e-commerce stores, that costs $29 a month. So $29 a month. You need a domain name. That's like $14 a year if you buy it through Shopify, you know, like yourstore.com. And then beyond that, the only other real expense is marketing. So paying for traffic. If you follow the dropship lifestyle model, then you'll get the $100 free credit for Google Ads. And the goal is by the time you spend that $100 credit, you're already making sales so you can reinvest into more paid traffic. I would say, you know, on the high, like if you went into this, again, assuming you're going to do the work yourself, which, you know, why wouldn't you? Maybe a few $100 is more than enough to get started. Okay, the next question is from Linda, and it says, should you do affiliate products or products from manufacturers? Linda, like 99% is products from manufacturers because you have more control over your ad sources. You make more money per sale. your business is more valuable. It's just more profitable overall. We do work in affiliate deals into our websites when appropriate and when like it's stuff that we actually use, recommend, and endorse. What I would say for that is it's something I talk about at about the hour mark of the webinar. So if you haven't seen the encore, go to dropshiplifestyle.com/webclass. Okay, dropshiplifestyle.com/webclass. And again, about like an hour into the webinar, I talk all about how we leverage affiliate marketing in our dropshipping businesses. Okay. Someone said, who said this? Where is it? I lost my spot in the chat here. Give me 1 second. Okay, good question here from Zliggy. It says, do you favor an online store starting from scratch or buying and improving on an existing business? Yeah, so I'm a big fan of selling websites. I'm not the biggest fan of buying websites because what I like, I don't want to sound like cocky or anything or arrogant, but what I know after doing this stuff for, 11, 12 years now is that for the majority of online websites out there, right, working on this model, if I see them, even if it's for sale for $1 million, I know that I could spend maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months to recreate everything that they have and maybe spend, $10,000, $20,000, and then have a store in my hand that could be worth 7 figures in the next 2 years. So I really don't recommend buying them. The only reason I would ever recommend that you buy an e-commerce store instead of building your own is if you already have your own, you're already making money from it, and you can either buy out one of your competitors, or if your competitors has just so much authority in your space, maybe that's because they have the best content there is online. Maybe that's because they've just, built relationships with some of the biggest influencers. But if you already have a really successful store, and again, one of your competitors has more authority, maybe you buy it for that. But again, for 99% of the people building new stores, it does not make sense to buy one when you're getting started, because you'll save yourself so much money by building it yourself. And again, I show you exactly how to reverse engineer other stores and how to do it yourself inside of Dropship Lifestyle. Cool. Yeah. Fresquez. Yeah. If you have coaching, you definitely still have it. And if you don't see it in your members area, just email support@dropshiplifestyle.com and we'll double check on it, but you should have no issues accessing it. Let me see. Jordan says, will you be doing any live events locally? Jordan, we did like a meetup in New York City this year. We had one in Sydney in Australia a few months ago. We have our Bali retreat in like 3 weeks in Bali, obviously. But it's not like, besides our yearly retreat, we don't have anything like regularly scheduled. But then I was living in Manhattan for the summer, so we did like a pop-up event there. And then some of our Australian members do events in Sydney pretty regularly. But yeah, the next thing we have scheduled is Bali in 3 weeks. And then after that, I don't know. I'm not sure where we'll be next. Okay. Yakin says, based on your experience, would people buy the ticket product when they visit your website, or you get leads and you send them to offers? No, yeah, it's not so we do obviously get leads like abandoned carts, people opting in for different discounts and whatnot, but that's not how the business works. Like, that's a extra bonus to increase our conversion rates. But most sales are people searching on Google for the product, seeing a Google product listing ad for our product, going to our website, placing the order either right away or within 2 or 3 days. John says that's a great movie. Yeah, I love that movie. So John says, what about vintage items that go from like 99 years old to more? Yeah, the problem with that, again, I'm not saying that, you couldn't do it and make money with it, but the reason that I personally wouldn't do that is because your sales are going to be one-off. Right? Meaning you're going to have probably like a custom piece or like one unique thing. Then if you sell that thing, then it's like, okay, what's the next thing? And if you build up momentum and that becomes a hot product, if there's a lot of demand, it's not repeatable. And the reason like my business is called Dropship Lifestyle, right? It's all about the lifestyle side of the business, meaning that we want to be able to build something that we could set up systems for, that we could put automations in place for, that just keep happening over and over and over. And if you're selling these unique or one-off products, products, a lot of your business is going to be sourcing the newest thing, changing the product page, changing the ad to reflect that. And again, not saying you couldn't do it or make money with it. It's just not what we do at Dropship Lifestyle because it's not repeatable or scalable. Okay. Brendan says, one of my suppliers wants to charge me to post their products to my store. No, Brendan, yeah. Again, check out the webinar, the Encore. I'm going to post the link again because I do go into that in detail when I'm talking about different supplier tiers. But here, this is the link for anybody that hasn't seen the Encore yet. When any supplier tells you that you have to pay to sell their products, they are what I would consider a bronze level supplier. And that's one of the biggest red flags there is, to just say, okay, thanks, but no thanks. Yeah. Brian says, thanks. Ecom oil wells. Yeah, seriously. Drainage. Yeah. John says drainage. I think they call those victims ducks. I didn't know that. Learned something new myself today. Cool. It says, I enjoy watching those who influence and then impact the market. Would I like a banana ale? Split the check. We could always promote whoever brews the beer. Not sure what you mean there, John. Are you talking about my new home brew brand? Let's see. Someone says, what's the name of your podcast? Yeah, it's E-commerce Lifestyle. I'll just post a link to it also because why not? Podcast is at https www.ecommercelifestyle.com. Cool. Okay. Excuse me. Brian says, what are the best products for SEO tools? Honestly, Brian, like what we use when we're doing our research is just Google. You can get a ton of information off what Google makes publicly available. So I won't get into like our whole SEO process because I literally made a 2.5-hour training on it. That's in the Dropship Blueprint in module 7, which is our traffic module. But yeah, we don't really use many paid tools at all. Google's your best friend. Kendall says, need an intern. Yeah, Kendall, we're always hiring out here. So if you want to email support@dropshiplifestyle.com, we can send you what current openings we have, if that's what you were asking. Everything, though, I should let you know, all of our positions, we do have, I shouldn't say that, all the positions that we're currently hiring for are here in Austin. We have right now about 70% of our team is distributed amongst the world, but the people that we're bringing on now, we're bringing on here for Austin. Okay, let's see. Legacy Chaser says, I'm thinking about selling electric toys like scooters and skateboards. I have researched if there is demand, and there is, but I don't know if there's brand loyalty. Yeah, the best way for you to, really know is just go through like the module 2 and then see how many different brands you could find. Can you find, 20 different brands? Can you find at least 100 different products? And like, is there enough variations between them? Or is it that there's like 3 companies that make everything and then there's 5 companies that rip off those 3 companies, right? That's not what you want. You want more like what I give in the chandelier example, where there's 400, I think I found like 480 different brands that make all different types of chandeliers. So you don't need that many, but again, you'd want at least 20 different brands. Okay. Next question says, always had a high CPC with a very low return on investment with Facebook conversion ads to cold audiences. What do you recommend we do? Should I do you do flex targeting or just a big interest and let Facebook ads do its thing? Okay. So, I love Facebook ads, right? I spend a ton of money on Facebook every single month, but we do not run Facebook ads to cold audiences for our physical product stores, right? For our e-commerce stuff, what we do and what we focus on is selling high ticket products. That means at a minimum $200, but our average order value is closer to almost $2,000 at this point. And because of that, we cannot just put an ad in front of someone on Facebook that might be interested and say, this is for sale, click here and go buy it, because we need, right, for our businesses. And if you're following Dropship Lifestyle, this is what you would need too, but you need people that already have the intent to buy. That means we go hard on Google ads. Same thing with Bing. So when people are searching for the brands we sell, the product names we sell, our SKU numbers, or any variation, then they find us because they're already looking to buy. So with what you're talking about, like if you are selling low ticket products, I can get into that, but I don't want to on this webinar because I don't want to, I guess, get off topic with what we do here at Dropship Lifestyle. But yeah, if you're selling high ticket products, don't run ads for them to cold people on Facebook. You are welcome, Schwab. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, John says people have been phishing and trolling his identity. Yeah, that hopefully it gets resolved. Sashin says, any installments for your course? Like I mentioned earlier, if you go to dropshiplifestyle.com/go, click PayPal credit, and then if you get approved, it's 6 months of financing where you can make 0 payments with 0 interest. Or if you want, you could pay it off in a week, or you can do whatever you want. But they give you 6 months where you could pay it off at the end of 5 months and make the same payment you would make today. So I'm going to post a link for here, PayPal credit. Can't type while I talk. So many typos, but it's dropshiplifestyle.com/go, G-O. Okay, cool. Let me keep going here. Okay, Jason says, what should you do if you build a store with the wrong products? Start over. It's one of those things, right? Like so I don't know, Jason, if you're a member of Dropship Lifestyle and if you've been through module 1 and 2 of the blueprint, but if you are, and if you go through them and you see that what you've already started on your own doesn't align with what I give you as a criteria, then I would just chalk it up to a learning experience and being like, okay, I put in some time, but I was doing things the wrong way, and then start over. It could be worse, right? You could never start over and be stuck with wrong products that will never make you any money. Fat Girl Life says, how much does it cost to buy a store? So it depends, like many things, right? If you build a quality store, okay, if you have an actual store that's making money and a store where revenue is either staying consistent, and when I say revenue, I mean profit also. If your revenue and profit is staying consistent or it's going up, and if you're doing that for at least 12 months, then you can expect to get on average a 30x monthly net multiple. So what that means is if you have a store and it's making you $5,000, right? Net profit every month, meaning after you pay for your ads, your products, your shipping, all that, you're left with $5,000 net profit at the end of every month. You could go ahead and sell that store for $150,000. So same thing. If you wanted to buy a store that was making $5,000 a month, it would cost you $150,000. Now, that's why I recommend you build them yourself, because it's not hard to build a store that's making you $5,000 a month. Like, that's not hard to do. So I'd much rather see people that really want to get into building businesses do that themselves than either hold on to it or sell it and you get the 150K, right? Like that's what we do with our e-commerce businesses. Okay, I answered that. Gian says, I live in the Philippines. I want to drop ship in the US. So you can, but I don't do that. Like, obviously, like I'm based in the States, so my businesses are based here. What I would recommend is you connect with people on our forum, on the fastbusinessforum.com, because we have people from all over the world that talk about how to set up businesses in smaller countries, that talk about how to set up businesses in the States from other countries. So I would recommend you get that data there. Okay, Julia says, question about uploading products in bulk by CSV file. Do you think that we can study how to do it ourselves to have control, or are we going to lose time and is it better to use a VA? So Julia, honestly, like I know that the product uploading part is like the worst. It's like the most painful thing when you're building a business, and it takes time and it sucks. It's not fun to look at spreadsheets all day, but I do recommend that you do it yourself, because you should learn the process and you want to make sure that things are uploaded the right way. So like, for example, what you don't want to happen is you outsource this and then one of your VAs maybe deletes like a price from the pricing sheet, and then all the other numbers get mixed up, or maybe they sort by image URL and the prices don't line up. Then they upload 100 products where everything is screwed up, and descriptions don't match SKUs and prices don't match products. So I recommend you do it yourself at first. In the future, maybe you want to outsource it, but get comfortable with the process yourself first. Okay. Jason says, what's the best way to find a winning product? Yeah, Jason, the way we do things is not about products. It's not about like what's trending or what's hot now. We literally, like, the process starts with thinking about things that either, you know, you've purchased online, your friends and family have purchased online, and then doing the research to make sure they're dropship friendly. So it's not about, yeah, trying to catch on to anything, but just selling evergreen things. Like I mentioned before, right? The whatever that thing is, the bookshelf that's behind me. Can't even move the camera, but like the art that's on my wall, the microphone arm that I'm using, the stand-up desk that I'm at, like that's how like the process of research starts. And then from there, we look to see who's already selling it and who's already making money. Okay, answered that one already. Otis says, is drop shipping dead? No. So yeah, listen, like you're going to see, since I started online, I've seen things online saying like, is SEO dead? Is AdWords dead? Like those are like clickbaity, trendy titles. But with drop shipping, like I guess let's take a step back. All it really is a high level term, and all it is a way to fulfill orders. Okay, so it's one way to fulfill orders on e-commerce stores or in magazines or through phone sales. Like it's not something that's ever going to go anywhere anytime soon. Now, there are different types of drop shipping that I think have always been dead. So the arbitrage model of like trying to go back and forth from Amazon to eBay and like find, you know, whatever, something for $3 cheaper and then sell it somewhere else. Like, I don't think that ever was alive, but you can say that that form of drop shipping is dead. Drop shipping from China is not dead, and I don't think it ever will be, but that market has totally changed from where it was. Again, we don't do that. We don't drop ship from China, but a few years ago, it was a lot easier and people were a lot more ready and willing to see a random Facebook ad, take out their credit card, buy from a random store. But then what happened over time is there was more competition. There were more people selling stuff. There were more people selling stuff that don't care about their customers or care about their business because they build what are known as burner stores, meaning they're trying to make some quick money, see what happens, and then just shut it down. And because of that, people are less willing just to buy from any random site. And because of that, ad costs are more money. And now with possible prices going up from China, like I would never say it's dead, but things shift. But yeah, drop shipping as a whole, again, it's one way to fulfill orders on a website or in a magazine or through the phone. And no, that's as long as retail is alive, that will still be a method of order fulfillment. Okay, let's see. Nope. In the office only for the jobs, no remote. How much should you start with on ads? Honestly, like I mentioned before, $100 that Google gives you as a credit, they give you a voucher. That's more than enough to get started with. That's assuming that your website is optimized to convert. That's assuming you got approved with the right type of suppliers. That's assuming that when people go to your website, you're actually, you know, gonna have a website that functions and that looks visually appealing to them and that they can trust you when they go there. So you do have to do a lot of things right, again, but $100 in free money is more than enough to get started. Okay, cool. You are welcome. Brian says, Austin rocks. My wife is a sommelier and attended the Texas International Wine Competition. Nice. I didn't even know that was here. Edwin says, is drop shipping becoming harder? It's different, you know. So one thing that I do think is important to talk about is not just drop shipping, right? But business is always evolving and it's always changing. When I started in 2007, if I tried to build a website with the methods that I used in 2007, I would not have a chance in the world. It would just, no one would go to it. No one would buy from me. And I would think, oh, this e-commerce stuff doesn't work. So I don't want to just say that things are becoming harder, but markets always shift. New ad platforms always come out there. Things that used to work differently. Sometimes things that used to work come back. But yeah, like you can't rely on what worked even 2 years ago to build a business now. And it's not just because it's harder. It's because buying habits change, the economy changes, what people respond to changes. So not harder, but different. That's what I would say. Okay, Mufaro says, is it too late to start and jump in Q4 with a limited budget? Let's say $900. What would be the best advertising stream for Facebook or Instagram ads? Is it either drop shipping or Amazon FBA? Yeah, so 900 bucks, like I mentioned earlier, is more than enough to build one of these businesses. If you want to do Amazon FBA, that's not the same as drop shipping. With Amazon FBA, you are buying products, you are shipping them to Amazon's warehouses. So I don't think 900 bucks would be enough there because you need products. But yeah, that's enough for this. Then, like I mentioned earlier, though, so I would go with drop shipping over FBA. And then with Facebook or Instagram ads, don't use either right away. Use Google product listing ads because that's going to get you the highest return on your investment. Okay, so Jason says, I've noticed on AliExpress that most products take 30 to 60 days to get delivered. I'm from the UK. Would it be difficult for me to get customers and maintain them? I mean, yes, that's the short answer. That's another reason why the whole drop shipping from China model is not, in my opinion, something that's going to last. And I'm not saying it's dead. I'm not saying it's a scam, and sometimes, just to clarify, Jason, like a lot of stuff does take that long, but some stuff customers will get like in 2 to 3 weeks. But we even did this as an experiment for our office here in Austin. And I was like, let me order, some of the best-selling stuff on AliExpress just to see like what the customer sees. And, it's exactly what I thought it was. Like we started receiving packages, some of them 30 days later, some of them 40 days later at our office in Austin. And they were like, these dirty like envelopes with Chinese lettering all over them that didn't reference anything about the websites, or anything about like what the product was. Some of them were smashed. The product quality was just crap, and these were some of like the best-selling products there. So I just don't like that business model at all. Again, I dive deep into it in the webinar that we couldn't get to work the other night, but I'm not a fan of that model, and I definitely think if you want to be in business for the long term, that's not how you keep your customers happy. Luke says, hi, what's up, Luke? Troy says, should you get into a niche if you can only find 2 legitimate drop shippers? Luke, oh no, who said that? Troy. Troy, I want you to find at least 20 different brands that you could sell for. Okay, your first store, you should find at least 20 different brands. So 2, no way. Luke, if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to help. You said you missed the webinar though, so I'm going to post a link again here. I'm just going to type your name so you can see this. But again, this is for anybody. You could choose a new time for the webinar. It's an encore. It runs like twice a day, and we're in the chat box the whole time. So there to answer your questions. Yeah, Luke, check out that link because that'll help you with a lot if you're just getting started. Okay, I answered that. Scott Journal says, for starters in the dropshipping business, do you suggest we open an LLC or start as a sole proprietor? So yeah, disclaimer, as usual, not a lawyer, not an accountant. But I'll tell you what I did. I personally started as a sole proprietor because I was 21 years old with nothing to lose. And then once I made some sales, I found an accountant, I opened an S corporation, and I've been operating as an S corporation ever since. If, it's up to you. It's up to the reason people will start an LLC or an S corp sooner than later is because the goal of it is to protect your personal assets. So if, again, knock on wood, like we've never been sued for anything and there's not much risk, but let's just say you had a net worth of $20 million, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to build a drop shipping store, and you did it as a sole proprietor. That means that if your business got sued, your $20 million would be up for grabs in the lawsuit, basically. But if you formed an LLC or an S corp, then only the things that the business owns would be, on the line. So, again, knock on wood, we've never been sued. It's not a risky business, but something to consider for where you're at. Again, when I started personally, sole proprietor, made some sales, then started in S corporation for like $400. Yes, Young, I 100% recommend this as a starting point. Jason says, so what's the best model? The best model is selling for domestic suppliers and selling for brands that already have product in stock in your country. So when I say domestic, like, again, I'm based in the States, so my suppliers are based in the States. We have a ton of members in Australia. Their suppliers are based in Australia. We have a bunch of successful members in the UK. Their suppliers are based in the UK, and so on and so on. So yeah, you're not trying to like just find random products and private label them. Cool. So someone asked about I'm in the market research process. I'm from outside the United States. What's the best way to find a VA? Yeah, jump into module 7 of the Dropship Blueprint. That's where I talk about hiring virtual assistants and show you exactly how to do that. And yeah, with that being said, guys, what time is it? It's 10:05 here in Austin. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Hopefully, you know, I was able to well, I answered all the questions that came in so far. So yeah, hopefully my answers made sense to you. Hopefully that clarified anything that you saw on the encore of the webinar. Again, I really do apologize about Thursday. That was not fun at all. But yeah, hopefully we made up for it with this. And yeah, for anybody, again, that hadn't seen the encore, go to dropshiplifestyle.com/webclass. You could watch that there. And then what I'll do with this, what I just did here, this Q&A thing, I'm going to leave it up on YouTube, but only for like, I don't know, maybe like 12 hours or so. Then I'm going to remove it because this was just for you guys because, you know, I screwed up on Thursday. Like the technology broke, but I was the one setting it up. So I'll take the blame because I chose GoToWebinar. But yeah, if you do want to get enrolled in Dropship Lifestyle, for anybody that asked, again, the link is Dropship Lifestyle. Flip that horseshoe up. Brian, is that better look if it's flipped up? Yeah, if you do want to get enrolled in Dropship Lifestyle, it's dropshiplifestyle.com/go for the special offer and dropshiplifestyle.com/webclass for the encore. And Brian, let me know. Now I'm curious. Is it better luck if that horseshoe is turned upright? What's the reasoning behind that? I have no idea. That was from my dad's horse, and that's all I know about it. I'm going to wait for you to answer because now I'm curious. And then put it up to pour out luck. Oh, no. Over the doorway down to pour out luck. I heard facing up is so that it holds the luck inside. Well, hey, maybe the webinar would have worked. Up on the wall. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Appreciate that advice. Yeah, and then maybe that's why I have it next to my Jets football, and they're 1-3, and I'm gonna watch them probably. Let's see. I'm gonna turn it up, and if the Jets win today, then we know why. It was the horseshoe. So yeah, anybody else watching football today, enjoy it. I'm gonna sign off and try to go to a pumpkin patch with my baby, my wife, before football starts. But yeah, everybody have a good Sunday. Enjoy your day. Thank you for being here. And yeah, if you get enrolled in Dropship Lifestyle, I will see you there soon. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.